Hello, peoples. Today I am talking about Invincible Adam Eve, the special. It's people like a prequel before the series starts, and like I say, overall, I really enjoy this a whole lot. Because you get a lot of first you get the original Guardians of the Globe team. This was when Black Samson was on there when he had his powers before he lost them, and then he got them back. And I wish they showed how he lost his powers in this episode. Like what happened because him lose his powers. But you also see them fighting the Viper people in here as well too. But they do mention them in the series. But the way they talk about it, it seems like they mostly like just losers. So, but you see them here, you see them in action as well, and you see like and also a lot of people who have on the Guardian of the Globe aren't really there anymore. Like there's the first like, there was the green person who can phase through things. I can't think of their name right now, but I think it was a guy this time. It was a guy at first, before it became a girl. So that's very interesting. Like it shows you a lot of things, but it makes you also very curious. What's that story about? Like what's going on there? What happened to the other one? He must have died or something like that too. So it's a thing got passed on. Maybe I don't know. And also seeing Samson with his powers and abilities working alongside the Guardians is also great, like nice. And he also makes you curious, like when did his powers and he loses powers as well. But you didn't see on the Dark, what's his name, Dark Knight or Darkwing. I can't think of the name right now, but you didn't see him there. Very interesting because he got injured because he pretty much only human, so understandable there. But you also see Nolan there as well too, and also even though he's helping the team out, you can still tell right there there's still this tension between them. It's very interesting as well. And most of this movie is pretty much about Eve and her discovering her powers and her abilities and discovering who, and also giving her more backstory. And even when she's finding out who she is and where she comes from, she's still being lied to and manipulated at the same time as well too. Because the scientist, even though he saved her from her fate, from becoming a weapon, he's still not telling her the whole truth that he found her mother was homeless and that he pretty much used her to pretty much make her to be the perfect like, weapon. But also put blocks in her as well too to make sure she wouldn't use her powers to the fullest because she's like very OP and she can do so many different things, rearrange the molecules and change the thing like that too. She's pretty much like Dr. Manhattan in a way because she can like change the structure of anything, turn it into anything, and like that's just insane. And seeing her, you can see her that she also has some intelligence that she has because the thing is though she can see all the atoms, she can understand them, and in a way kind of communicate with them and then command them to do what she wants to do, which is very interesting. But also seeing how her father, even though I don't think that her parents actually know that actually they're actually biological daughter. I think they actually think they're raising their child because you see them in the hospital and they're mourning their child who died. And then a nurse comes in with the baby saying, "Oh my gosh, your baby! She managed to come back. She came back. She fought her way back. What is a miracle?" And then seeing that now Eve didn't come off quite normal at first. She just did a lot of things. I don't think she's been, and I didn't show her saying a lot. But when she had a babysitter, and when the babysitter was very interesting, was way more excited about Eve than they were. Well, the mom had a little bit excited, but the father looked like he had hatred in his eyes for his own daughter. Like it's so odd to me. Okay. You finally seen your daughter has potential. You finally seen that your daughter is very smart and very capable of doing something amazing, and your response is anger. It's not pride. My daughter's a genius. My daughter, like I've seen people brag over their children, and they do the littlest of things. That's the littlest. They don't have to do much, and they already telling the world, my child's a genius. My child's gonna be a president of the United States. I don't think so. They're eating cranes right now. I don't think they're gonna be. I think you better calm down a little bit. But seeing how he went from seeing the child capable of doing something, and because the babysitter like telling him, like, "Yo, my God, your child's so smart. She can see the atoms and all that too. She explains to me chemistry." And disappointment. Like he's disappointed that the child was smart. What kind of mess? And then having her best friend. Now I understand when you might do something that's different and weird and you never seen before, it can freak you out. But that's your best friend. And you see your best friend just doing something extraordinary, how can you not want to be part of her life? How can you not want to understand? I just understand, where did this come from? How are you doing this? What else can you do? The things you can explore with this, and then your first thought is to reject her. I mean, it's so weird to me. Maybe because I'm in the comic books and stuff like that as well too. Maybe because I like superheroes and things like that. So my best friend showed me they have amazing powers and abilities. I'll be the most excited person on the planet. Matter of fact, I'll be so excited you think I had powers. Even if they said, don't tell anybody, I'm going to keep it a secret, just keep it between us, I'll be just fine. Let's explore this world. I'll be the best cheerleader I possibly can. Wow. I don't understand how people reject something that's so beautiful and so amazing. But seeing her use her powers and abilities, and then finding out who her actual family actually was, and the things they were doing to create them was so messed up. And having to fight pretty much their own siblings because they were pretty much the rejects. Like this, Eve was the favorite, which is really messed up. And the other siblings knew she was the favorite because they pretty much told them they were the favorite all the time. And so constantly, it kind of reminded me a little biblical, but Joseph, and it's called in many colors, how they favored Joseph so much and made the other brothers mad at him and kind of envious of him. And so they pretty much looking at them as rejected monsters because they didn't look human at all. Most of them look very deformed, really messed up, very, very sickly. And they constantly being told that how perfect Eve is, how perfect blah, blah, blah. A girl they never even met and know her as well too. And then and finally got the opportunity to meet her. They just had to prove that we're better than you and having to fight them. And then the realization of like having family that you didn't know you had, hating them but actually loving them at the same time as well too. And the conflict between her of that, and forcing her to grow up in a huge way and not be able to tell her parents of what's going on. It makes you think, when did it happen when her parents finally found out that she had powers? Because we already see later on when she's older, they already know, and the father hates it to the fullest, to the point that he wants her to go back to a guy who was cheating on her, who was hurting her, which is like so messed up. So you would think because at first I was thinking that just maybe later on. First he was, because the thing is though, it shows her when she was a child how he loved her, how he watched TV together, they were laughing at that about too, and then all of a sudden when her powers start, I guess you could say, start to manifest, he probably didn't respond to him like she used to. Instead of trying to understand her and tried to love her more, he went from like, in a way, kind of hating her. And then being mad at her for not living to potential that he thought she. The thing is though, he never wanted her to be extraordinary from the beginning. Then being mad at her for not being extraordinary enough, is like so weird. It's so weird to me. But the voice acting I thought was done quite well. For Eve when she was 7 to Eve when she was 12. And even though it was two different people doing the voices, you can hear that it was like it was still similar enough. You can hear, but also different. You can tell the difference, distinguishments between the young and the older version of her, and also the action sequences and the fight scene I hit was done quite well too. And seeing her learning how to use her powers ability in a fight was done quite well too. But the thing though, it does raise up some questions as well because Eve is so powerful, the things she can do, and even though it already established she did have some limits at first, she couldn't control organic life, but certain things that she, simply because her powers were so great, and it showed how her potential would start. A lot of fights you think happening here could have ended quite very quickly. Like this, take like the guy with the robotic arm, and even though she couldn't affect organic at the time, the thing she could have done to that arm and end that fight so quickly, it would have been over way too quick. So like, I understand why they did it to show a cool fight scene, but because of her powers, it made you say that why didn't she just end it right then and there? I mean, she could just turn his arm into water or something, and the fight would have been over. He had no blaster, he can't do anything, and the fight's done. But it is what it is. But overall, I still had fun watching it. I highly recommend it. And you also got a little bit of a mark, the scene where he was at as well too, in the time what he was doing, and seeing the conflict that Nolan was going through at the time of deciding if he should kill his son or not was very interesting as well too. But overall, had a lot of fun watching it. Looking forward to seeing the season when it finally comes out. Two thumbs up from me. Highly recommend the show. Check it out for yourself.